Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 199 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today we have a really great house in the Cliff that we want to share with you. It's an amazing Americana Tudor that you're going to absolutely love.
And in our second segment, we are going to talk about the economic update for 2023.
Lots of questions, and we've got answers for almost all of them. It was a great event that we went to on Friday. I didn't know that was a stunning statement, but apparently it was quite
We have
shocking.
answers for every question you have in the world.
Kind of, but not really. We tried really hard. We'll get back to you if we don't know. So it's a big weekend in Dallas. If you're not from Dallas, let us just tell you that it is one of the high holidays here in Dallas because it was the
OU Texas weekend.
Texas OU weekend. I don't know why you said it like that.
I don't either. I'm from Oklahoma. I don't really care.
You don't have a dog in the fight?
I don't. I've lived here 41 years. It just kind of rolls off OU Texas, and I get corrected by so many people, especially Ray Smith.
Ray Smith, one of the guys who actually helped host the show one time.
Yes.
He would not like to hear that. It was a big win for Texas, 49-0. I don't know. I think if you go back for a shutout, that was like in the 60s possibly. It was a long time ago.
I wish I'd loaded up the short video of the OU fan that was crying.
He was.
Oh, poor guy's going to live in infamy with that meme.
Golly, I will tell you, and it is one of the weekends when we get some of the heaviest traffic patterns, and we've already got pretty significant traffic on Friday as it is. So just amplify that with everybody from Austin and then everybody from OU. Huge weekend. And if you were on 35 this weekend and headed to Austin, you really had traffic because ACL was happening, first weekend of ACL. So everybody was heading to Austin. Everybody's heading up here. It's just Texas was in transition this weekend for sure.
It definitely was. We drove to Sherman on Sunday morning. Yeah, we drove to Sherman Sunday morning, and traffic was moving along very quickly, but there was a lot more traffic than I'm used to seeing on 75.
Interesting. Well, speaking of moving along, let's take a look at what's happening this week in the Dallas County market. We'd like to talk a little bit about what we're seeing in the last 7 days to kind of give everybody an understanding. I know we hear so many huge proclamations of doom and gloom, and we kind of just want to whittle them down and get them closer to home.
So the number of coming soons that have been reported in MLS over the last week are down 22%. That is the total of 50 coming soon listings. Coming soon is a status that not every listing goes into. It's an optional status where if an agent wants to put a sign in the yard, they do any marketing on the property, but maybe it's not ready for showing. That's what coming soon is. New active listings are down about 2% to 425. And then when properties go under contract initially, they usually go into an option period. And that's the period that the buyer gets to do their due diligence and inspections and things like that. And those were down about 2% to 304.
And then if we move and out of the option period and everything is agreed upon, we get into the pending, and that's up 19% of 183. Also in this pending status, the days on market were averaged of median was 15 days on market. So that's really pretty short. And then if you look at the sold data, that was also down 45% to 249. And sold data, there's an interesting stat that we can pull, and it compares what the original or the last list price to the actual sold price was, and it was 99.32%. So that's really close to the final price, which is really a strong market.
And we were talking about last week where last week or the week before where that getting that list price number has reduced a little bit. It's come down from like 103% in June of this year down to 98.7%. Yeah.
And so that's all indicators that, as we were going to talk about later, that the market is beginning to normalize, which we're happy about because 24 to 18 months ago was a really tough time for everyone.
Yeah.
So
hectic.
Yeah. Hectic is the right word. Yeah. So one of the things that we like to point out is that this information we can actually provide to you in a portal that helps you understand what's happening in a school district, a zip code, a neighborhood that you're interested in purchasing in. It just really begins to give you that history to be able to make a really educated decision when that house comes on the market. So if this is something that you would like to know or just know what's going on in your neighborhood, let us know. We'd be happy to make that happen.
We would. So let's jump into our first home.
Let's talk about 920 Stewart Drive. This is a 3-bedroom, 2 bath, 4-car carport, and is 2386 square feet, priced at $775.
Really cool home, great location. If you need access to I-30, if you need access to DFW Airport, you could even work in downtown Fort Worth and live in this neighborhood. And that 38-mile drive between the two cities would not be overwhelming.
No, and because we now have the Calatrava Bridge, you have another way to get into downtown, which really makes life and that commute so much easier. A lot of the clients that have to live or work in the Arlington or Grand Prairie area, this is a really great commuter neighborhood for you as well. 360 will take you straight north, and you'll be able to bypass everything that's on 35. So you really do have great access to some of the major highways that are in Dallas that make it really easy getting around.
And this part of town has really come together over the last 15 to 20 years. The neighborhoods have begun a shift to a little bit more modern style of housing. This is one of those really old, is it Craftsman home? Tudor, thank you. It's really a great little neighborhood, but you have so much infrastructure that has changed. You have access to the really nice restaurants, and you have, as we'll see in just a few minutes, you've got access to simple things like great beer breweries and wonderful location.
So around the corner from here is a place called Kid Springs Park. And this is a really great area. They did a lot of work, and we wanted to kind of highlight this was one of the giant improvements they made for the neighborhood, is this giant outdoor water park, which is a really great item that this neighborhood needs. And you can see here really great outdoor playgrounds as well.
Multi-acre park, a water pad there. This was a property that was put together, a city park. Gosh, wow, lost all my words. A park that was put together back in the 60s, and there's a spring-fed lake on the property. I don't know if you know this or not, but they actually have pickleball 4 days a week at the rec center there.
Huge fan of pickleball.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
Karate classes, hit fit classes, really a great neighborhood location, recreation center, park, just everything you need right there.
And for the big kids, we haven't forgot about you. Stephen Park's golf course is just around the corner from here. This is a beautiful gym inside of Dallas. As you can see here, really beautiful views. One of the most amazing things about Oak Cliff is the topography. And this golf course takes great advantage of that with these really great greenways and amazing greens. So this is a real treasure for that portion of Dallas.
It really is. It's a 110-acre park, or 110-acre, 18 holes, par 70. You've got about 6,200 yards of fairway in this. I'm not a golfer, but my friends that have golfed here said this is by far one of the best municipal golf courses in the country.
I'm sure Kathy Hewitt loves this place. So also around the corner is Oak Cliff Brewing Company. This is a great little getaway if you're looking for those great craft beers. I believe on Saturday night watching the game at the Trinity Grove just around from here, these beers were on tap, and I put together the raspberry cider and also their dark lager, trying to make a snake bite. Came out amazing.
Good. I have not tried their Hefeweizen yet, which is really kind of like my narrow profile of what I like in beer. But I have a feeling that our Wednesday beer group will probably be getting together down here soon.
I agree with that. All right, so let's talk about 920 Stewart Drive. Again, as I said before, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 4-car carport, just under 2,400 square feet. As you can see here, an amazing brick front Tudor. It is landscaped so well. And just really, if you can see just above our heads, it has that really great covered porch and those arches. They did a great job with these night shots. It just really tells you how special this little home is.
It really is. Crepe myrtles in the front yard. You've got a nice shrubbery there. You've got this big front porch that's behind that protected shrubbery. The curved walkway going up is really just kind of indicative of that time.
And I love the fact that when you came in, you see the original hardwood floors. And one of the great things about Oak Cliff, as we talked about earlier, the topography is there's a lot of stone also under the soil. And so we get a lot of great stable pier and beams here, which make it really nice. And so wonderful light. They did replace the downstairs windows, which is great. That actually add a lot of energy efficiency as well.
Lots of core things have been done to this home. The side porch has been enclosed. There has been electric gates front and rear that have been installed. I believe the sewer line has been replaced. Some electrical has been done. Lots of core things that have been taken care of.
So if you're looking for a house that has a lot of that heavy lifting done, which is really key, this would be one of the go-tos for you. As you transition out of that living room, you've got a really great dining room right here. And as you can see, easily and comfortably seats, that looks like about 8 right there, but this could definitely expand well beyond that.
And those are pocket doors on that, which I absolutely love. They've done a great job really keeping the vibe of the floor plan, stainless steel appliances, glass cabinet fronts with lighted cabinets, and a real laundry room with a sink.
I loved it. And they also did butcher blocks on top, which made a really strong, cool folding table. And you also have a sink right there. Looks like it could actually double as a dog washer.
It is, and I really like the backsplash tile that they've chosen in this house. The countertops have almost a concrete feel to them. Rob was saying he believes that they're Silverstone, Cornerstone, but really just a nice vibe to them. Farm sink, great lighting, great colors throughout this home.
I did. I liked it. And I thought that it was smart the way that it was centered right in the center of the house. So it actually helps you transition. Stairs are there. We'll get upstairs to the master in a little bit. But this gives you the enclosed porch. I believe that they have done a really great job. Not actual wood, the original floors, but they look amazing and well matched. You can see here how they've kind of created that mud room for this spot as well, which is a great indoor-outdoor. If you needed another area for an office space that needed to have that hybrid, that would be a great one for it.
And this is an enclosed area that the enclosed porch I talked about a while ago that he has set up as a cycling station. And I can imagine he just has a great time out there.
It is a really great, it's almost like a cycling studio, lights, windows, it's all perfect. Now, as we go upstairs, this is the renovated master, and it was impressive.
They did such a great job with use of the space where they continued with the roof line all the way to the top of the pitch, but kept the exposed beams. These are new double pane windows that are up there, and it is literally a master suite upstairs.
And they didn't just stop with the master suite, because then you get this really great master bathroom, and it was smart, and it was also thoughtful. It's like they were trying to keep in with the Tudor style of when it was built. And so you see the hexagon pattern there on the floor. They've also repeated in the penny tile that goes around both in the shower and also around the tub. But I love the way that they made use of the space, because you're seated in the tub. You don't need to have high vaulted ceilings. So what a great place to put that.
And a double bowl vanity there with the rod across the front, which I thought was super creative. They've kept it in kind of a rustic style. They have the fixtures coming out of the wall, which is one of Weston's favorite things. And this is the office that is in that upstairs area. So as you come up the stairs, you come through this area first, and then you go back into the bedroom and bath, which I think makes so much sense, because you've really got the different workplaces if you need them.
Yeah, it was perfect. So if you are one of those people that need to have your office close, you can shut it off just as you see here, but then it also has great light. Downstairs, we've got 2 additional bedrooms, so you can see here, perfectly situated, again, nice and clean. It's hard to see, but there are ceiling fans right there as well. And I believe that just wanted to point out, the HVAC system is 5 years old, which is really a big deal.
Another big heavy lifting thing. This is the downstairs bath, probably IKEA cabinetry there, which I always think works really well in bathrooms. This is the back bedroom, and I love this room because it had so much natural light.
I agree with you, and it just all works out perfectly, which leads us to this 4-car carport. And what is really unique about the 4-car carport is that it has entrance from both the front and also gated entrance from the alley. So no matter where you're parked, it's not a problem to get in and out. Lots of green space still for the 4-legged friends, and a really great in and out for you.
And this that is a storage building, that is a storage/workshop building. There's actually a wall between that door and that window, so you've got access on the door there into storage, but the other side of it is a workshop area.
Yep. So this is 920 Stewart Drive. It's 3-bedroom, 2 full bath, 4-car carport. It is just under 2,400 square feet, priced at $775, which comes in at $324 a square foot. And we want to say thank you so much to Rob Elmore for letting us feature your home. Also, one of the things that we can do is do this for you, as we were talking about with that market watch. If you've got a neighborhood that you're tracking, or you just want to know what's happening in your own, let us know, and we'll be happy to make that happen.
And with that, we'll be right back.
Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pew, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you missed the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. It's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the second segment, episode 199 of Sold with Updike Pew. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and what are we going to talk about today?
We have our economic update.
That's right. So we were actually able to attend the Metro Tech's economic update last Friday, and they had some really great speakers. And so we thought, hey, you know what? We should present this to everybody. And it was funny because when I was reading the Dallas Morning News on Sunday, one of the reporters had actually attended, and they were taking and quoting some of the speakers, and some of the things they were talking about, I had actually written down. I thought, very unique.
Yeah, hopefully that's kind of what we're hitting here. We've got 12 slides to show you. We're going to go through them very quickly because I know how boring that can get. The first segment of our presentation was done by Dr. Jessica Lautz, who is the NAR Vice President of Behavioral blah, 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 Consumer Behavioral, blah, blah, blah.
She was great, and she was hysterical.
She was really good.
Good job.
This was one of the first slides she presented, and I thought it was really interesting because this shows that the amount of the percentage of income spent with each generation on each of these items. And as you can tell, the first one's housing, blue, and it's gone from 29% in the younger boomers, which is kind of where I roll into, and all the way up to now it's increased to 35% with the younger millennials.
And I remember it being 31 for my generation. But I think also what's interesting is that as you see how the amount of income going towards your housing has increased, the amount of income going towards your transportation has decreased. Mm-hmm. So either ride shares are happening more and more, or fewer and fewer are actually getting cars in their driver's license.
Yeah, and I mean, the cost of insurance and just maintenance, I know a lot of people that live in really super urban environments, they're not going to buy a car. They don't have to pay for parking, blah, blah, blah. The other thing I found really interesting was how much more people are now having to spend on education than they were before. And would we factor that too?
College tuition. Mm-hmm. I think that's
student loans.
Huge factor.
Yeah.
So let's talk about typical down payment right now among home buyers from 1989 to 2021, and it has changed.
So the blue line is first-time home buyers, and in 1989, the typical down payment was about 10%. The typical down payment now is down to 7%, meaning a lot more people are taking advantage of those, 3.5% down FHA loans, 3% down conventional. Bank of America has rolled something out that's now a 0 down payment loan. Yeah. And people are taking more advantage of that just because so much more of their income is going toward things like their student loan debt, which really limits the amount that people can put together for their down payment.
And we also noticed that if you're a repeat buyer on the green line, you saw that it had gone down from 23% when it was tracked in 89 down to 17%. And we thought, well, that probably is because that point of the population is really diversifying and probably purchasing multiple properties.
The second speaker that spoke was the Chief Executive Officer of the Dallas Builders Association, and It's kind of a hard graph to grasp in just a couple of seconds, but it's really, he titled it The Great Normalization. It's showing two things. The blue bars are showing the number of finished vacant inventory of homes, and then the aqua stars or diamonds are showing the finished vacant months of supply. And they track very differently, because in a really fast-paced market, you can see that the finished vacant inventory still is coming up, but that finished vacant months of supply is slowly coming up.
And you see that it really started happening about 2019 is when the actual months of supply of vacant inventory began to dip below what was actually vacant and available. And that's really where we saw a lot of the hamstringing happening, and then coupled that with the shorts of supplies. And this just really created a trouble, but it is the normalization.
And where's all that coming from? This is the 3-year job change in the 12 largest metros around the country.
And the crazy thing is that if you add up Atlanta, Phoenix, Houston, and Miami, all of their increase in job growth is still less than DFW at 321,000.
Yeah,
which is a staggering number.
And that is just from May of 2019 through May of 2022.
It is. And so if we look at apartment complexes, this is another one of the indicators that everyone likes to take and base things off. And ranked by the number of units under construction at just the mid-year alone, DFW had 56,000 units coming up.
That's crazy.
It is, and that's why we joke and say that the state bird of Uptown is the tea crane.
That's true. And apartment rents have really been on the rise. You can see here how they've had really pretty big jumps in the last 2 years. The average rent right now is $1,548. 2 years ago, it was less than $1,300.
And the funny thing is I still think that $1,548 is low in the Uptown area.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yep. So talking about population growth from 2010 to 2020, you see Texas.
Yeah, so this information is coming from Dr. Jim Gaines at the Texas A&M University Texas Real Estate Research Center. This is an institution that realtors fund.
Yes.
So whenever you become a real estate agent, you make $20 of your fee goes to this, and then whenever we renew, another portion of our renewal also goes to it. So it's a very nonpartisan organization that just looks at data.
And it's so interesting is if you see 2010, it was 25,000, move forward to 2020, 29 million, and that is a percent increase of 15.9.
That's a 4 million person increase over that 10-year period.
And the interesting thing is that he says that our increase up into 2030 was going to beat what they were projecting.
Yes, it's really crazy. So the last part of our presentation was done by Steve Brown, and we love Steve Brown. The articles are really done well. The number one thing that we wanted to say is always go beyond the headlines.
Yep. Steve Brown is an actual real estate journalist for the Dallas Morning News, and that he is a really great, non-sensational, really smart, but still I think so much information comes out in headlines, we have to read beyond.
So median days on the market starts ticking up. We are currently at about 16 days on the market, and that is really the number of days from the time that the property goes on the market until it closes.
I think it's really interesting that this is a national survey, and we can look at Dallas County like we did in the first half of the show on Market Watch, and the median was 13, so it is a real number right now.
And showing the average number of offers received on the most recent sale, you can see where just a few months ago there were an average 5.5 offers received on every sale.
And that is a lot. And still we're at 2.5.
Yeah,
that's still a very healthy market.
it is
Very quick.
Yeah, the market's still there. It's just we're going from 170 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour now,
and we're getting pricing more accurate.
And this was an interesting thing to me about the buyer waived contingencies. There's two primary contingencies in a contract. One is your appraisal, and the second is your inspection. And you can see there was a point in the market there where roughly a third of the people were waiving both the appraisal and the inspection.
I would think that this will continue to dip down in majority of the properties. There still will be the outliers where this becomes a reality, but I think that again is going to be for those properties that are one of a kind or are super clean and priced to move.
Absolutely. And then their last slide is talking about the first-time home buyers and their household composition. So you can see the blue line there is the number of married couples that are first-time home buyers, and that number is down from the 80s of 75% down to about 50% right now. Unmarried couples is going to be that orange line. That has gone up to about 17%. And what was the other thing that we noticed in here?
So we always say that there single women buy so much more than single men do, and you can see that right there in the 17 to 11%, which is almost 50% more women buy than men that are single.
Yes.
And that is a proven statistic. And you could break that down. We won't do it today, but we could break that down even further in the demographics of those men.
So I hope you found this helpful today. We've kind of rushed through information. We'll make all the slides available if you'd like. If you have any information or any subjects you'd like us to talk about, just put them in the comments below. We'll be happy to do that.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.